Let's try this again. Hello, everybody. Heather here. I think we are firing on all cylinders. Basically, what happened was that I had Tom, my husband, connect me in Hardwire last time, and then when it did that, it like froze the thing. So I had to restart the stream, which is super like just frustrating. But you know what? Whatever. It's cool. We're hanging out. It's a beautiful day. It's the first of a new month, so we're just gonna hang out. So if you are tuning into the replay, what I'm going to try to do is add the timestamps to this stream. So check the pinned comment if you want to jump to a specific section. Someone in the other stream, when I tried doing this the first time, asked if we are going to be doing like a full, I don't know how you said it was like full spoiler unlock. Like, can we just, anything that has to do with Final Fantasy XIV, can we just talk about everything? So yes and no. So if you're still watching, we're not talking about spoilers yet, but the reason why I wanted to make this or do this live stream was because I actually finished reading this. This is the Encyclopedia Eorzea Volume 1. And I was going to make it a video, but I just felt like it would be so much more fun talking about it live rather than just me rambling. It just seemed like this is a perfect thing to do on a live stream. So then I had the itch, and then here we are. But this Encyclopedia Volume 1 is only about A Realm Reborn and Heavensward. So what I'm going to do is save the majority of this stream to just be relevant to what we talk about in here. But I do have a question that's kind of a big question with the whole story of Final Fantasy XIV that like is alluded to in here, but then after having played Endwalker, like all the way through to the end of Endwalker, I still have this question that I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to save that for the end so that if you like, I guess we'll have a little bonus section at the end where it, like all spoilers, we'll talk about everything that has to do with Final Fantasy XIV because I don't know the answer to this. And so I want to see what you think, and you can tell me what you think the answer is. I'm keeping it in mind as I'm playing through New Game Plus, but yeah. So anyway, so let's just check in really quick. Sean is here. Hi, good to see you. Lyrith, yay, we made it. We are here. Andrea, hello. And JH, thank you, Tom. You're the best. So, okay, so here's what I did. As I was reading this encyclopedia, which is fantastic, by the way, I also have volume 2, but I was kind of trying to read it at the same time as going through New Game Plus. So I just finished Heavensward. I recorded my Heavensward video this morning, actually. I'm really excited about it. It's so long, and I feel bad because my last video about Alphino was also over an hour long. I don't mean for them to go this long, but like I guess I just have a lot to say. But I have volume 2 sitting there, and I think that's about Stormblood. I don't know if it talks about Shadowbringers. But yeah, so I'll get to that. But as I was reading this, I just kind of made notes of like, oh, that's something interesting that I didn't know, or just like it's lore, right? So it's not necessarily, you kind of have to go out of your way to discover these things or learn about these things. They're not, pivotal to the story or anything, but they're kind of interesting tidbits that, like, honestly, I don't think a lot of it is discussed in game, or maybe it is, but it's in those like super optional side quests that I just haven't gotten around to. So yeah, I don't know. So what I did is this is Bento the Benevolent, my randomizer, I guess, on this channel. And now Siri is talking to me for some reason. If you haven't met Bento the Benevolent, I've introduced him in a couple videos, but this is my prop for this channel to just kind of help me figure out the order of how to talk about things. So what I did was I wrote down note cards for kind of every interesting tidbit that I thought I could share, and then I'll just draw them out and then talk about them. I also have this, I hit the mic. I also have this other angle that is a top-down shot, so I can show you the page that I'm referring to, which I'm excited about. So, but yeah, if you want to send a sticker to Bento, because my whole thing with Bento is like, this is going to be covered in stickers from you. This was the first sticker. I believe this is the unofficial mascot of Grinding Gear, which is super cool. Thank you so much for that. But if you want to send a sticker to Bento, I'm going to leave my P.O. Box address in the chat right now. My only 2 requests are that it has to be appropriate because I want to show it on camera. But then the other thing is I'd love for you to include like some kind of backstory as to what the sticker is. Like, is it your favorite video game character? It doesn't have to be Final Fantasy XIV related, obviously. But I just love the idea of like, this is kind of a story of all of us coming together. I don't know. I just think that's really cool. So with that said, let's see. Sergio, hi, first time in your chat. Your videos are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I never know, but I have so much fun making them. I could talk about video games all day, if you can't tell. Andrea says, I live for long form content. Yay. She had great insights. Thank you. Unknown character 14. Yes, we are back. And hopefully we're here to stay until I'm done. All right, cool. So let's do the first one. And like I said, if you are catching the replay, I'm going to try to timestamp this so you can just skip to the card we're talking about. All right. First up is, I pulled 2. Is page 213. I need a done pile. Page 213. Let me try to do this without hitting my mic. I'll lean over here and go to page 213. This book is so cool. Like, oh, it's just so cool. I love how it's designed. I mean, I refer to this thing all the time. Okay, what was my note here? Okay. So here's page 213. This is going to be kind of hard to see. Let me see. Can zoom in a little bit more. What? Okay, might be kind of hard to read. But the point that I wanted to talk about on this page was this girl, this Ascian, Igeyorhm. What did I say? Page 213. I just wrote her name down. So I think the reason why I wanted to talk about her was I didn't know anything about her. And going through the rest of Final Fantasy XIV, I kind of just forgot about them. Like, when they're in it, so, you know, it's just kind of like a flash in the pan that I didn't even, like, they don't stick out to me. But reading her bio, it's very interesting. So it says, in the 13th, Igeyorhm's power proved too much for the inexperienced bringer of light, and their one-sided battles eventually resulted in a flood of darkness, consuming the entire world and rendering it a nigh-empty void. So my understanding is that each Ascian, I believe there's one Ascian for some reason for every single reflection. I didn't know that, but it looks like she was in charge of the 13th. What life remained quickly atrophied into aether-starred monsters, relegated to fighting amongst themselves for dominion over their corrupted realm. Void of its ether, the 13th could no longer be rejoined with Hydaelyn, ultimately losing its value to the Ascians. After fleeing to the source, Igeyorhm sought redemption for her failure by enacting Lahabria's will. However, even with their essences combined, the pair could not prevail over the Warrior of Light. Thus, Igeyorhm met her doom. So, she's the one who messed up the 13th that made it become a void. That's really interesting, right? Like, and it says here, her power proved too much for the inexperienced bringer of light, and their one-sided battles eventually resulted in a flood of darkness. So does that mean that she was battling the Warrior of Light on the 13th? I'm confused. Either way, it sounds like she messed up, and then that's what caused it to become the Void, which, I don't know, interesting. Let's see. Thunder Bunnies. Hi. Hey, David. Lyrith says, I did not either until you fight her in Lahabrea. For me, she was very random, but maybe I did not pay attention. Or is it her that Lahabrea teams up with? Yeah. I don't know. I think because, like, I remembered Nabrialis kind of. Like, I think if I had played to the end of Endwalker and you told me to name off the Ascians I know, Iggy and Nabrialis are not the ones. Like, I would have forgotten them. It wasn't until I played New Game Plus that I remembered. But I think this is like very interesting lore, that you actually get to meet the person who messes up the 13th so much that it becomes the Void. Like, it's not even, like, we don't even call the rejoinings anything else, right? And then there's the source and the first, but they don't even call the 13th the 13th. It's just called the Void. I don't know. Interesting. All right, let's move on to the next one. She was battling the Warrior of Light of the 13th, says Sergio. Yeah. So that means that it caused a flood of darkness. And so I guess what happened was basically a precursor of what kind of happens on the first, right? But the difference was with the first is that Ardbert and company come to the source to kind of stop it from completely overflooding. So we don't know who the Warrior of Light is on the first. They're just rip. Okay, next one is page 97. Page 97. Yes, I have 2 points on this one. Page 97. I'm so excited to get into the other encyclopedias. I think volume 3, I think in the last live letter or the 14-hour live stream, they showed a test copy of volume 3, and I'm so excited. I think it's green. Okay, so here's this page. Boop. This is the Maelstrom. This is Limsa. And the thing I wanted to talk about is Merlwyb. She's awesome. I really, really like her. But it says here, though Merlwyb has spent most of her 42 years joyfully upon the seas, she can scarcely afford to sail the waves as admiral. Instead, she indulges her second passion, fine wines. And it is said her particular favorite is a deep chalice of Lomani red. So I don't know if this is actually true, but I said this in my A Realm Reborn characters video, that one of my favorite NPCs is, let's see if I could try to find, I think it's over here somewhere. One of my favorite NPCs is Shamani Lomani. And I was like, is that his wine? Yeah. So here's Shamani Lomani, right? And she says that her favorite wine is a deep chalice of Lomani red. So not only did he discover new passion, but like, it's good enough for the admiral to be like, that's my favorite wine. I know this is silly, but I just think that's cool. I don't know. I love that. And like, where else would you learn that in the game? Because I also love red wine. And so I was like, okay, you know who else I'd go to happy hour with? Merlwyb. Like, also, the other thing on this page is this guy, Enzar Slafferson. So upon my second playthrough in New Game Plus, this guy doesn't really stick out to me. He's just like, okay, he's the second in command under Merlwyb, right? That's pretty much like, he's the guy in charge of building the contraption where we go and kill Leviathan. But I do know of the figure called Mistbeard, right? Like, there's this legendary pirate, this legendary, like, figure in Liminson history named Mistbeard. I forgot what it was that they exactly did, but something like, he goes down in legend. But it says here that he actually might be Mistbeard, and like it like, people kind of know that, but they're not saying it. Let's see. So it says, according to the gossip of fishwives, he is actually the legendary pirate king Mistbeard, whom no man has seen for the past 22 summers. They also say that he befriended Merlwyb through the bitter enmity and fierce fighting betwixt the two. He's an avid collector of masks, though no one seems to be privy as to why. But I think that's interesting that, like, because I remember hearing about Mistbeard, but it's like, who the heck is Mistbeard? And isn't it crazy if he's just standing right there? And, like, why, right? I don't know. I'd love to know more. Tell me more of this. Let's see. Let me check in with the comments. Andrea says, I call Nabrielus a sad spider because that's what his mask makes me think of. Oh my god. Do the masks all look different? I thought all the Ascian masks look the same. I thought they were all the same. Are they different? That's definitely something I missed then. Have you done the Warring Triad trial series from Heaven's Ward? I have not, but there's a whole page dedicated to the Warring Triad in here that I found fascinating. I was like, oh wow. They're like the 3 original primals or something, right? I think they're the 3. I'm never going to find it. Let's see. I almost wrote it down as a card to put in here, but then I was like, oh, I need to like limit how many. I think there's like 20 cards in here, so we're going to be here till forever. But yeah, the I believe the Warring Triad are the 3 primals that are still on Azizla, right? But I haven't done the trial series. Let's see. Unknown character says, pretty much sounds like the 13th got overcooked, so it can't be served to the source. Yeah, something happened there. I'm curious as to the order of like how it all went down. Like, was the 13th the one that they tried to rejoin first, and then they messed up? So they're like, okay, we can't do it that way. Now let's have 7 successful rejoinings. I don't know. Lyra says, yeah, my question would be, because the void became what it is now by Dark Flood, does it imply it could not be rejoined to the source as a result? Or did it? Because if a shard gets rejoined, it was my understanding that it no longer exists as a shard. Yeah. This is where I'm gonna try to pay more attention, or I'm going to specifically be looking for these things as I play it again. And obviously the void is still out there, so it didn't rejoin. So wouldn't that mean that the first would have failed to rejoin too if the light flood had swept all the way through? Yeah, that was my understanding, is that if the first overflooded with light, it just would become a void. I don't know. Oh yeah, there's side quests about him in Limsa confirming that. Oh great, I gotta look into these then. Hullbreaker Isle Hard. Yeah, the Ascian's masks are from FF12, I think. The music in the Triad is fantastic. I thought they were all just like the red, like... That's funny. I thought they all had the same one. I didn't know it was different for each one. The Warring Triad story deals more with what went down on the 13th and its Warrior of Light. Oh, then that's fascinating. I definitely got to add that to the to-do list then. The Warring Triad. Because I would love to know more about the 13th. Warring Triad Trial Heaven's Ward. Cool. Oh, and then Mistbeard. I gotta look into these too. Mistbeard side quests. I haven't done, I think it was whatever the new one is, 6.2 yet. Because, like, I love still having fresh content. I hated being all caught up. It made me super sad. Okay, we did this one. Oh, man, we've done 2. We still got a couple. We still got a lot left. All right, moving on. What do we got? We got page 206. Page 206 is, oh, yeah. Okay, so this one made me super sad because I didn't know. Page 206, where are you? So, oh, I guess they do look different, huh? I thought we were talking about the red, like, glowy thing. That's what I thought you were talking about. But yeah, that does look like a spider. Let's see. Oh yeah, 206 Ratatoskr. This is what I want to talk about. Okay, so if you don't remember, Ratatoskr is the dragon who kicked off the entire Dragon Song War unintentionally. So we've got Shiva and Harry Svelger fall in love. There's 200 years of peace. And then the Thordan at the time, like King Thordan the First or whatever, and his people get greedy and they're like, oh, we want the same power as the dragons. But the thing that I didn't realize, even playing Heaven's Ward again, I tried to really look for this, but I don't know, either I missed it or it's not explicitly said. But Ratatoskr, as we know, is the dragon, is the sister of Nidhogg, whose eyes get eaten, right? Like King Thordan and his people kill her, eat her eyes, and then now every descendant of Ishgard has like dragon blood in them, right? And this is because Ratatoskr gets murdered, Nidhogg goes on his whole like 1,000-year streak of revenge. But the thing that I did not know is Ratatoskr was a wanderer and the bearer of dragon songs, traveling from one corner of the world to the other, carrying tidings amongst her siblings. Of the first brood, she was perhaps the most curious and worked passionately to establish a lasting peace with man. Like, why did it have to be her? Because she seemed like such a willing and enthusiastic ambassador for dragons to people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there was someone who like didn't really care to hang out with man. She was all about it, and it sucks that it had to be her. Alas, she did not fathom the depths of mortals' avarice and rashly revealed to King Thordan the secret of the worm's power. This is the thing I didn't realize, that she was the one who told King Thordan that the power was in the worm's eyes. Like, I knew they found that out, but I didn't realize it was, I don't know, must have been the same conversation, right? Like, she's telling King Thordan, hey, you know, this is where the power is. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Boom. I'm taking it right here and right now. I thought he had just like found out somehow. I didn't realize that she was the one who told him. Yeah, that's like, I know the dagger had been stabbed through the heart, but I didn't realize it was turned to finding this out. That made me really sad. Okay, let's check in on the comments. Let's see. The triad were just a source thing. The triad themselves, yes, but some of them, let's say surrounding circumstances go beyond. The warring triad's duties are soloable, unsynced, but we could do a community run. Oh, my camera just turned off. So I think the next gameplay stream I'm going to do is probably this weekend. I think it's going to be coils because people keep telling me I got to do the coils. So I'd love to do that as a community run. I'm still trying to decide whether it's going to be Friday or Saturday. I also have no idea how to do this, like how to set it up. Like, I don't know. Do you just form a party and then queue up together? I don't know. I have to figure it out. Let's see. Lyra says Allig entrapped Triad as he rolled out prototype Magitech designed to trap primals and use these successes to advance and improve in order to build Dalamud to entrap Bahamut. Yeah, I don't blame Nidhogg being mad for so long after that. Yeah. It's like so sad. That made me really sad. Okay. What was that page? That was page 206. Boom, boom. Next up is I got two. Page 133. What is page 133? 133. Whoop. I love how built out Final Fantasy XIV is. Okay, page 133 is... Oh, okay, so here's a question I had. I think this is straightforward, but the Syndicate versus the Monetarists confused the heck out of me. Like, I wasn't sure if they're referring to the same thing. I believe that the Monetarists are a part of the Syndicate. That's what this page is referring to, I believe. Let's see. Yeah. This is just a question I have. We don't have to like go into it, but if you know the difference between the Monetarists and the Syndicate, I'd love to hear it. There, that was an easy one. Let's go to the next one. It is page 206. Awesome. Page 206. Oh, yeah. I was like, I thought we just did that one because I'm back to the dragon page. So, this is about Midgardsormr and how he did not die. So, it says, the father of dragons, Midgardsormr, is said to have come to Hydaelyn at the beginning of time, yet fundamental questions such as exactly when and whence remain unanswered, throwing the legends into doubt. Regardless, the worm appears to have been the guardian of Silvertear Falls, and it undeniably rose from the waters with a host of dragons to meet the Garlean invasion in 1562. That's that whole, I think, the Battle of Silvertear Falls. Midgardsormr enraged the Agrius, and after a furious bout, fell from the sky, spiraling down with the Imperial battleship. He was widely thought to have perished in the battle. However, what died was merely the vessel which had carried the worm for so long. Without another vessel to house his undying spirit, he created an apparition with which he used to accompany the Warrior of Light on his quest for redemption. So that's the whole thing that confused me, because I was like, we are straight up staring at the remains of Midgardsormr, and then we go to the Keeper of the Lake and also defeat the, I don't know, shadow or the spirit of Midgardsormr, and then he's like still able to travel with us as like the mini version. And I wasn't sure, like, I get that if dragons, like, I get that dragons live forever, but if they never ever die, then this whole Dragon Song War thing is silly, because obviously like Ratatoskr was murdered, and that's why Nidhogg is going nuts. So I was like, why, like, what is the explanation for Midgardsormr like outliving or cheating death, I guess, and not like just keep, you know, now they're in our party and they're a mount and everything. So I was confused, but this makes sense. I'm not really sure how it makes sense, but the explanation to me makes sense. So I don't know. I don't know. There must be something specific, like special with Midgardsormr, because he's like the first dragon, right? So I guess that he can do kind of something similar to what the Ascians do, and like, or he must have the power of the Echo and be able to do, like, that thing where you can move from one vessel to another. I just thought that was interesting. Let's see. Andre says the Syndicate is like the Senate, and Monetarists and Royalists are like the reps and the Dems. Oh, that is, thank you. That actually makes sense. Lyra says basically all Syndicate members belong to the Monetarist party in Uldum, but not all Monetarists are Syndicate members. Yes, Syndicate is a criminal inner circle. See, I thought the Syndicate was like the members of the table, like Raubon and Nanamo, and no, because corrupt coin is Syndicate money. I must be thinking of something else. Think of Yami in Yu-Gi-Oh! He decided to rent your body or something like that. I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm sure if I did, this would make sense to me. Have you done the Shadowbringers or Stormblood? This is another question I have. What is the abbreviation for Stormblood and Shadowbringers? Because in my head, they're both SB, but obviously that can't be. So I don't know what SB is referring to. The body can die, a spirit can live on. Yes, but like, who makes that call? Like, who gets the special, you know, I have a spirit that can live on, but like Ratatoskr does not. Eric says, nah, he's just old at AF, so he's super powerful. Lyra says his spirit, his essence, is in like a hibernation state. His corporeal form, body, has been left to join the Warrior of Light. I love how all of you guys have answers. See, this is why people do live playthroughs, because you can get the answers right away. Okay, next up is page 50. Page 50. I just move my notes here. Page 50. What is page 50? Oh, this one was kind of a cool tidbit. I bet you didn't know this one. Okay. Let me change my... This is going to be real hard to see. So this was super cool to look through. This is a chronology of the 6th astral era. And it starts at year 1 and goes all the way to year 1572. And the year 1572 is when Alphino and Alisaie enter the studium at age 11. So that's the end of this timeline in this encyclopedia. But on page 50, let me see if I can find it. Oh my gosh, I didn't write it down. Let's see. What color is Ulda? I'm gonna find this. Oh, here. Yes, I found it. Okay. Here we go. I know this is hard to see. I know you probably can't read it. But in the year 1466, the Goldsmiths Guild of Ulda adapts advanced clockwork mechanisms to fashion the first Mammet, a living puppet. The prototype Mammet is named Menjing. I didn't realize that Mammets were created by the goldsmiths, the Goldsmith Guild. That's super cool. That's super cool. I think I have a special connection to the Mammets now that I have my island sanctuary, and those are the guys that are taking care of my island. And then we use the Mammet heart, which makes sense because we bought the Mammet heart from the Goldsmith Guild, but that's what we put into the Reaper that we used to infiltrate the Praetorium. I don't know. I think that was cool. Oh, are we good? Did I fix it? I keep hitting it. So, hello. Is there still static? Let's see. I keep hitting it. Shadowbringers is SHB. Stormblood is SB. Okay. SB is Stormblood. Shadowbringers has the H because it was already taken. Got it. Ratatoskr lost both her eyes. All her power went with them. Oh. Is there still static? Let me know. Oh, we are fine now. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Next up. Black and gold. Page 249. All right. Moving on to page 249. Oh, this one was interesting. So, page 249. Let me tell you what's happening over here. Because I didn't know this. And I don't know if like people know it. So here's the Ixal, the Birdmen, the Beast Tribe that worships Garuda. But what I didn't know is that, let's see, where would this be? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, here we go. Society and culture. Though the tribe itself does not understand the truth of its origins, the first Ixal were in fact a chimeric creation of the Allagans known as Ixalian. Developed for deployment as an airborne division, these laboratory inventions were indoctrinated to unfailingly obey the instructions of specific individuals in order to ensure an unbroken chain of military command. The present rigid social structure of the Ixal is presumably an echo of this genetic design, with approximately a tenth of the population occupying the command class, a fifth in the middle class, and the remainder in the laborer class. Every generation removed from their race's inception, it is extremely common for descendants of the superior commander bloodlines to hold positions of leadership within a flock. And I think at this point they can't fly. But crazy that they were created by the Allagans. I had no idea, and they don't know either, which is crazy. So I think their whole thing is like they used to live in some floating island, like wherever Garuda is from. that's what they think, right? Like they think that their legend is that they used to live with Garuda, and I don't know, for some reason she banished them down to the world below, and I think their whole thing is to try to go back up. That's why they do the dirigibles and the flying things. But I just find it so fascinating that they were actually created by the Allagans. It's like the Allagans created a whole race. Like, isn't that crazy? I don't know. I think it's crazy. Yeah. The Allagans. That's insane. So they're genetically engineered Allagans. Isn't that crazy? I'm sure that this is lore somewhere in the game, but like it's I don't know, I just found that fascinating. Like, because I didn't know that. Yeah, exactly. It like makes me, I don't know, now I want to like look out for it. I haven't done any of the Realm Reborn Beast Tribe quests. I wonder if this is what they talk about. Oh, actually, I think I remember reading that. This chief, the chief of the Ixal, he was a notorious delinquent. Sazul was 15 when his attempt to steal a war balloon and fly off into the night was foiled by an engineer. Though it necessitated several disciplinary beatings over the course of their next few encounters, the master artisan persisted in teaching Sazul the value of life lived with purpose. The repentant youth eventually pledged himself as Dizul's apprentice and proceeded to take his first steps in the world of balloon construction. From that day forth, the young Ixal threw himself into his work and with unbridled zeal okay, so I don't know what his deal is. Like what I think I want to say that he's just trying to get back to the land where Garuda's from. But I haven't done the Beast Tribe quest, so I don't know. That's on my to-do list. Wait. All right, next up is page 30. Page 30. Page 30. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is kind of just a little one. I have actually never been here. This is the... I'd love to know if you've been here. And more importantly, have you participated in a ceremony of eternal bonding here? Because that would be cool. So I read about this. This is the first Sanctum of the 12. It's believed to have been erected around the dawn of the 5th Astral era. After years of disuse, the original structure fell into ruin, overgrown by the thick brush of the Black Shroud, and lying forgotten until the 7th Umbral Calamity, when it was unearthed and restored to its former glory. In the modern age, it also serves as a hall wherein the gods bear witness to the declaration of eternal bonds between lovers. So, like, I had no idea what the ceremony of eternal bonding was for the longest time. And every time you log in to Final Fantasy XIV, you get that, like, welcome screen. And I for some reason, I always saw, like, the ceremony of eternal bonding is on hold. Or, like, there was all these announcements about the ceremony of eternal bonding. And I was like, what is that? And then I looked it up and I saw it's like you can have like a wedding in Final Fantasy XIV or get married in Final Fantasy XIV. And I believe this is where it happens. I remember seeing it in the Shroud, but I don't think I went in. Like I think I remember seeing the first Sanctum of the 12 like pop up on my screen, and then for some reason I just didn't go in. But now that I know that, I mean, I would love to bear witness to somebody's ceremony of eternal bonding. I don't think I would ever have one because I don't think Tom's ever going to play Final Fantasy XIV, or maybe I'll make him create a character so he could do it. But I just love that legend behind it, that it has the same like origin story as the Crystal Tower, right? So it got buried, and then when the 7th Umbral Calamity happened, apparently a lot of things got unearthed. So, yeah. Let's see. Fractal Continuum Hard. The AAR tribe does have some, but the aforementioned hard dungeon actually goes into Allagan lore. I don't think I've done that one. Andre says, one of the optional dungeons has original Ixalians left in as its enemies. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Actually, let me write that one down. Lyra says, Heather, were you actually in the MSQ? I'm I was going to say I'm done. I haven't done 6.2. I think I've done 6.1. So I haven't done like the most recent big patch because I hate being caught up. It's like really sad. I had major withdrawals after I finished the MSQ because I went through it so fast. Every day I played Final Fantasy XIV. I was just like blasting through the story. And then when I caught up, I felt so sad because I had nothing else to do. And that's why I just, what are they called? I ended up, the first big thing that I did after finishing the MSQ was getting the, it's not the Zodiac weapon, the Zodiac weapon, the Realm Reborn Zodiac weapon, because it's a pain in the butt. But I was like, I just need an excuse to spend time in here. What am I writing? Fractal continuum. Fractal continuum hard. Yeah, I stay behind on purpose. Like, I just love having it in the corner that there's something else there. But I don't feel it as bad now because I'm also replaying Persona 5 Royal and Octopath Traveler, like the mobile app. And I also downloaded Nier, which I've never played. So I have 3 games like that I could be playing simultaneously. But to kind of hold me over, I've been making these videos and I'm playing New Game Plus, and it's so much fun because like usually I wouldn't replay a game this quickly because I finished it in July, right? I would have waited like at least a year so that I can kind of forget stuff and then do it again. But it's so much fun making videos about it. Like I wish I could have done this earlier, like make videos about video games, because it's almost like discovering lore by hearing how other people interpret the story. Like, they can completely disagree with me. I don't care. But to see the difference in perspective is just like, oh, that's cool. It's like a cool little, bonus tidbit to see that's how, to discuss and like to see how other people are consuming the game kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, so page 33. Oh, this one was such a cool tidbit. Oh, it's just the next page. So I would love to know if this is in the game somewhere. Okay. Because I know that this is optional in A Realm Reborn. But like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So this is the ancient city of Omnipur. No, it's not. This is the ancient city of Omnipur. This is something else. The dungeon with the Tonberries is, what is it called? The Wanderer's Palace. That's what it's called. So I know this one is optional, and I can't remember like why I did it. The Wanderer's Palace was a massive stone temple dedicated to the Nemean's patron god Oshan, ruler of the mountain and protector of vagrants. It appears to be coincidence that Vilbrin's indigenous kobold tribes also worship the mountains, revering Mount Ogomoro as their sacred mother. But this commonality is believed to be why the Nemeans were able to foster amicable relations with Beastmen. Okay, so check it out. Here's the tidbit. These guys, okay? Anyone who's played any Final Fantasy or anybody who's played any Final Fantasy, regardless if it's Final Fantasy XIV, knows what these are. These are the Tonberries, right? It's the same thing as like Cid, Biggs, and Wedge. It's just another like Easter egg that shows up in almost every Final Fantasy. So I always look out for these things as a hardcore Final Fantasy fan. So I was like, oh, cool, Tonberries, But in the world of Final Fantasy XIV specifically, they're actually people. And they turned into this because of a disease, which is that's crazy to me. Many of those afflicted with the Nemean plague were roused from a deep slumber when the protective barrier that for centuries had isolated the Wanderer's Palace from the outside world was shattered by the fallen shards of Dalamud. With no knowledge of the plague and its disfiguring effects on the skin and extremities, those early explorers of the recently surfaced temple claimed that the ruins were inhabited by Tonberries, mythical, rancorous creatures believed to stalk the shadows of night in search of revenge. So the Wanderer's Palace was hidden from history, buried, literally. And then Dalamud exploded or crashed or whatever, right? And then the shards fell, and that is what unearthed the Wanderer's Palace, because so much time had passed between when the Nemean plague happened and the Wanderer's Palace being unearthed, we see these guys and think, oh, they're creatures. They're, beastmen. They're mythical creatures looking to just kill people for whatever reason. But no, it's these are people inflicted with the Nemean plague. And the plague is what turned them into the Tonberries. It's so interesting to me that it's kind of like finding out the Ixal is created by the Allagans. Like, these are people, right? That's crazy. Let's see. So Geki, but catching up leads to doing literally everything else in game. I know. There's still so much that I haven't done though. And I'm not in a rush. Because I mostly play for the story anyway. So I know there's a ton of MMO stuff that I can do, but have you done the Manderville storyline yet? I have, but I think I'm still in Ul'dah, so I think I caught up to. I still have a lot to do. I want to say I'm about halfway through them. Andrea says, "Man, I love the Nier Automata story, but I suck so badly at actually playing it. I had to play it itself for me in auto battle mode. Honestly, many a game I do that. I don't know. I'm kind of past the point of the challenge of a game, and I play the game more for the story. So if there's any, there are some games where I think I did this with Bravely Default 2. I just put on easy mode, dude, because I'm not about to spend all this time leveling up just to, further the story. And I keep hearing that the Nier story, this is my brother's favorite game, and my brother is the one who recommended that I try Final Fantasy XIV. So every game he's recommended to me, I'm like, this is the best game ever. He also recommended Persona 5 to me. So, I really want to play Nier, but I wouldn't be surprised that if you change the difficulty, that I think I would too. The Scholar Job quest goes into the Tonberry thing. I've only played Dragoon, so I just can't imagine playing another class. I would forget how to play Dragoon. I probably suck at playing Dragoon, but yeah. All right, next up is page 32. I thought I did that one already. Oh, okay. So it's just this is a very quick one. Thank goodness, because I think we're not even halfway. But it's this. So the creepiest enemy to me, the one that's the scariest one, the one where I'm kind of scared to look at the screen, is this guy. I don't know what it is about being on a bridge and there's this giant door or block or book or whatever, and then there's this guy coming out of it. It's I get creeped out every single time. I remember I think I had to grind in here to get the Zodiac weapon. And I would tell my husband, Tom, oh my God, it's this guy. And I was doing it unsynced. So, it took one hit to kill this guy, but I still this one in some other dungeon. And it just creeps me out. I think it might even be the Great Google Library because it's a book. But yeah, I just hate, it's so gross. Okay. Next up is Bento. Page 49. Oh yeah, okay. So this one was interesting, and I'm very curious as to where we find this out. Okay, so this is the timeline, but I'm actually just gonna tell you what it is because I don't remember which one it is, and it's kind of not focused right now. So the thing I wrote in my notes is that the Seedseers don't age and they have horns. So I think I knew this. No, actually, I don't think I knew this. So I didn't know that there were these special people. What color is Gridania? I think they're yellow. Oh, here we go. Joran's eldest son stops aging and is feared to harbor an unknown sickness. The child refutes this, declaring it a sign that the elementals have chosen him as a mediator between the forest spirits and man. He discards his birth name and takes to calling himself Miqo'te, which he describes as a sound made by the etheric waves when the elementals speak unto him. Henceforth, Joran and his children adopt the surname Pota, and I think he becomes the first, like, Seedseer. So I didn't know that there were, like, I don't even know how old the siblings of the Seedseer are, like Kane Senna, right? Because I think she's got 3 siblings. But I didn't realize that it was like a special power that they're born with, kind of thing, where they don't age and they are able to speak to elementals more than other Gridanians. Like, I didn't realize that. And they also have horns. I didn't realize that either. So if you have horns, then you have this special power that makes it so that you can, like, communicate with the elementals. I just think that's interesting because it's like you're literally born with a superpower, right? It's not like Ishgard where, I mean, I guess now it's kind of like Ishgard because every descendant of Ishgardian blood at this point has dragon blood in them. But, like, you know, with the other Eorzean city-states, you kind of just live wherever. Like, you're born here, cool, you can, you know, immigrate somewhere else, no big deal. But for these people, it's like it'd be pointless to be a Seedseer in Ul'dah, right? Because you need to be in the forest talking to the elementals. So yeah. Lyra says, I said that about Black Mage, then it got too hard to do. Advanced rating, switch to RDM. I don't know what RDM is. RDM. Not branching out with jobs is like going to a Baskin Robbins and getting only vanilla when there's 30 other flavors you could try. Well, let me tell you, Sogeki Dan, the only flavor I've gotten at Baskin Robbins is cookies and cream. And I refuse to try everything else because I know what I like, right? Like, I just know what I like. I'm definitely that person that as soon as I find something I like, I won't go out of my way to try something else. So, like, either someone has to show me or I have to share it with someone. So, like, if I go to Baskin Robbins with someone else and they get, like, I don't know, birthday cake or something, then I'll have a bite and then maybe it will become my new favorite. But, like, you know, if I'm having so much fun or if I really enjoy the thing that I'm currently enjoying, like, it doesn't, you know, I won't bother trying something else. Oh, Red Mage. Yeah, the Google Library has a guy like that. All right, moving on to, I think we're halfway done. Page 29. Page 29. Oh, yeah, this is kind of an interesting thing. So, Oliver Bentley, my character, is a Miqo'te. And I knew that the first initial was their tribe, but, like, I didn't realize that it says it was not long after their return to the realm that the Miqo'te learned of the new Eorzean alphabet. So they had their own alphabet initially, and then they went to Eorzea and then found out that the Eorzean alphabet has 26 letters. So tribal seers were quick to claim that the fact that the number of letters in the alphabet, 26, directly corresponded with the exact number of Seeker of the Sun tribes that had made the journey across the frozen seas was most fortuitous, subsequently convincing the tribes that they should each take one of those letters into its name. that's super cool. So Oliver Bentley as a Miqo'te, having the name Oliver Bentley absolutely does not make sense, but it's cool that like that's how they did it. You know, it's like they crossed the, what is it? They made the journey across the frozen sea to Eorzea. Eorzea had 26 letters, and there's 26 tribes of the Seekers of the Sun. And so they were like, all right, everyone take a letter. And that's how you decide. Well, what is the Seeker of the, isn't the other one the Seeker of the Moon? I don't remember how they name their people. I believe I'm a Seeker of the Sun. But I thought that was interesting. Page 208 is, let's see. Gotta update my notes here. Page 208 is, oh yeah, okay. So this isn't like a lore thing, but it's something that I like. I was like, huh, interesting. I like this. So this is Mutamix, okay? Mutamix is, I believe that this is the guy that, he's in Thanalan. And he's the one who teaches you how to do materia melding. Mutamix is an elderly goblin who arrived in Thanalan near the end of the 6th Astral Era. He has since toiled it to impart upon the realm his boundless knowledge of materia, an enigmatic substance best described as the crystallized ether essence of a well-worn piece of equipment. In the past, he belonged to the fraternity of goblin scholars known as the Illuminati, who, by the way, I keep hearing about. And I haven't done I want to say it's a raid, but I haven't done it yet. So I'm like, everyone keeps talking about the Illuminati, and I have no idea like where it is. However, he found himself at odds with their secretive ways and left the group, claiming that science might only evolve through the diversity of thought. This is the thing that I'm like, Mutamix, I feel like me and you would get along. So how do I explain this? I just love the idea of diversity of thought, right? Like I love the idea of, how did he put it? Science might only evolve through diversity of thought. I feel that same way with enthusiasm for something, right? Because it's an interesting, like, starting this YouTube channel that's about video games, starting this YouTube channel that's about Final Fantasy XIV, creating completely new online personas specifically for Heather Just Play. That's all I see now, right? Like, everything in my YouTube homepage is either video game or Final Fantasy XIV related. Same thing with my Twitter and stuff. And, you know, I have been creating on YouTube for 6 years. And so I get that the internet can be the way that it is. But what makes me sad from me interacting with the digital world as Heather Just Play so far is that I feel like the internet kind of stabs itself, shoots itself in the foot, because it's super exciting to be able to do things like this where you get to nerd out with other people who get it, where we can, literally cross space and time. Like, you guys are all over the world. Like, we can all come together in this moment and talk about this game that we love so much, which is so cool. Like, I think that's super cool. And diversity of thought, right? Like, we can have this discussion. You can tell me things that I don't know. I can share my perspective and my insight, and we could just sit here and geek out together. But, like, the sad part of the internet is that it could also be like, well, if you don't agree with the way that I think, or if you don't have the same opinion, then it comes, it gets real toxic and defensive and aggressive. And it's like, it makes me sad because I see it. I'm now seeing a lot of it in the genre of video games, because that's what I'm following on Twitter. And it's like, I can't help but feel like, isn't it cool that we can do this in the first place? Like, what happened to that? Why does it everyone have to have a hot take now? Like, isn't this cool? Like, this is cool. Final Fantasy XIV is cool. Like, like it however you want, right? Like, can't we all appreciate the diversity of like how we all like the game, right? Because of course it's going to be different for everybody. I don't know, it's just interesting. It's not lore, but in seeing how much fun I'm having with this channel, like I'm having a blast, right? Like as a 37-year-old, I never would have thought that starting a YouTube channel about video games was something I would ever do. But it's been so cool to read all the essays I've been getting on my last video, you know, like even that, I made an hour-long video talking about Alphino-Levier. I was like, who the heck is going to want to watch this? And every single comment I've gotten on that video has been paragraphs long. And I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. It's like, it makes me sad that the platform that I am having so much fun on is also the platform that like causes people a lot of stress and like makes them feel negative things, because it just doesn't have to be that way, you know? And I know people are people and the internet is the internet, but I was like, I feel like me and Mutamix would get along, you know, because I feel that way too about the internet sometimes. Oh, I should check in with comments. Let's see. Hey, Kevin, what's up? SMN is so fun. SHC is fun. Summoner and Scholar, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I don't recall where I learned about the Padjal being special people, but it's definitely not something the game pushes in your face. So Geki, I know there is a quest line where you learn a lot more about the whole Padjal, but it's a class role quest in ENDWALKER, believe. Oh, so unless you have a level 90 tank, you won't ever see that content. I've been getting a little... Well, actually, no. I can confidently say that I'm comfortable playing with other people now. Because I've done a lot of the raids. I did the like near raid, most of them. I don't think I finished the quest line. So it doesn't like, I'm not as scared of it, but I'm kind of into saving it for live streams. So we'll see. Braulio, they give you some info on the Padjal during the White Mage job quest, if I remember correctly. Yes, because I think that you get it from the Conjurer, right? Yeah, because the Conjurer turns into a White Mage. Andrew says, well, that's your problem. Stay off Twitter and your life will be objectively improved. Yeah, it's funny because I just have such a love-hate relationship with Twitter, because it does... I like seeing... I like it is a source of information where I wouldn't otherwise learn about things, like especially with Final Fantasy XIV. Where else would I go to, you know, learn about all the updates that are coming out, or see all the cool fan art, or see, you know, the quote bot posting quotes from Final Fantasy XIV. But then it's also, I don't know, it can get vicious too, right? All right, page 170. Page 170. What is this one? Sharlayan leaving everything but letting the ruins run amok, which has affected history. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's my thing with this one. Let's see. Here is the book. This, I believe, is yeah, this is Sharlayan. So this is in Encyclopedia Volume 1, so it's, you know, I'm sure this is going to be different when Volume 3 comes out, but as of Volume 1, there's this page right here that talks about the forum. Surprisingly, Levier is in here, which, like, I didn't think we met this guy until ENDWALKER, but it's funny because the thing I wrote about this is that they live on the continent, right, that's on the west, and then they migrated to the Dravanian hinterlands and then built that Sharlayan there. And then they ended up abandoning it when the Garlean Empire invaded, and like overnight this whole thing ends up becoming abandoned, right? This is where the Great Gooba Library is, and Matoya still lives here, or like next to it. But like what I found interesting was that so many of the Sharlayans are so anti like getting involved with history, right? Because their whole thing is like, we just let history unfold, and we are the keepers of knowledge and study, and like we don't get involved. We just record everything, and like we cannot influence how history unfolds itself. Which there are some Sharlayans who disagreed with that, like Louis Soir and Alphinaud and Alisaie, obviously, but I think most of the forum still has that policy of like, we do not interject in the dealings of the world, right? But I do find it interesting that in abandoning their home in the Dravanian hinterlands, the Great Google Library, that Arboretum thing, and I don't know, everything else that has now claimed shelter there. I mean, I know there's Shire, but everything else, it's like, well, because you let the Great Google Library run amok unchecked, like now there are things in there that are affecting history, right? Like, aren't, like, the fact that this land still exists has had an impact on history, which is like, I don't know. I just think it's interesting because if you really didn't want to have an impact on history, you would have cleaned up. And why would you leave the Great Google Library just sitting there when, like, it's got loads of books? I felt like you didn't have to just leave overnight. You could have come back and done it in phases. I don't know. Whatever. Now I'm just being nitpicky. All right. So, can confirm the White Mage do go more in depth on the Padja. Cypher says, I recently started a new character to absorb the lore at a much slower pace than normal. I was fascinated at how much and how early we learn about some of the lore that are hidden behind side quests. Yeah. I have yet to do the side quests that, like, well, okay, to be honest, there's a lot of feature quests that I haven't unlocked yet, like the blue quests. There's so many that I haven't done, but for sure, I don't think I've done a single, like, quest that doesn't have the plus sign. Like, there's no like feature unlocked. It's just the completely optional quest. I don't think I've done any of those, which, like, I remember when I was playing through it, there were times where I was like, oh, I kind of want to know what happens here, because it was like, in doing the main story quest, it kind of builds up to a thing, but then it would like take you to, I'm trying to do this without spoilers, but it'll take you to a dungeon that like is optional. So I just didn't do it. But as I'm doing New Game Plus, I'm trying to find the balance, because the thing with New Game Plus is that you can only have one save. So like, as soon as I start Heaven's Ward Part 2, I can't now jump to like, Shadowbringers Part 3, like, because I can only have one save. So as soon as I start a section of New Game Plus, I kind of want to finish it so that I can take all my notes so that I can make videos on it in the future. But yeah, anyway. All right, next up is page 209. 209. Who is this person? 209. 209. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, I mean, this isn't that big of a deal, but Liavinne, Painfort. Liavinne. Let's call her Liavinne. So, Liavinne, see, this is another reason why I was so confused in Realm Reborn, because I swear there's like multiple adventures of 5 that I just kept getting so confused, because there's like, let me see if I can find them. There's these guys, right? The Warriors of Darkness. They're in the trailer of A Realm Reborn. I felt like I kept seeing their faces a lot. So there's these 5. Then there's the Company of Heroes, which is another 5. And then there's these guys, which you only see 4, but there was a 5th one, and then like he got his head chopped off, and Edda is just like carrying it around for whatever reason. So, I mean, there was just so many characters introduced in A Realm Reborn that I was so confused. I swear there's like another 5 band of adventurers too. I can't think of right now. But anyway, so Liavinne says, the Duskwhite member of a very inept band of would-be adventurers, Liavinne had begun feeling the first stirrings of affection for Aver in the days before that fateful descent into the Tamtara Dewcroft, and his death was especially difficult for her. To forget her pain, she took upon several odd jobs with the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, but was killed at the age of 21 during the Imperial raid on the Rising Stones. That's crazy. So I don't know if, like, she's one of the bodies that you take out of the Rising Stones that you go to bury. But, like, I didn't make the connection. Actually, I don't think I ever made the connection until I read this. So even on New Game Plus, I didn't realize that she had picked up, like, a contract job with the Scions, and then that's what placed her at the Rising Stones when Livia had invaded, and then she died. It sucks. Like, just the worst luck ever. Yeah. So, let's see. Artemision. I never even thought about it. They abandoned Sharlayan due to Garlean invasion and yet maintained neutrality despite it. Strange. It was left there but kept under watch by Matoya. So many to absorb on ARR. Oh yes, did you ever do Tamtara Dewcroft hard? Her story is played out through this dungeon. Yes, I did, but, like, I missed it. I really want to do it again because I think you told me. I think you told me, like, you know, this is who Edda Pureheart is, and I kind of got a sense of, like, okay, she's the what is this person called? I always want to say Lalafell, like falafel. The Lalafell got the wedding invite, and then you have to, like, go to the wedding or whatever. I remember that. I'd done it once, but then I really should do it all over again. All right. Here we go. Page 196. Page 196. Which one is this one? Okay. This is the Domans. So definitely on my first playthrough, the Domans just, like, went over my head. I was like, okay, there's these refugees and, you know, why should I care? And then on my second playthrough, of course, like, I was paying attention to every single one. And it's interesting because, like, there was 3 generations that come over on the boat. So I believe Hozan is the second generation. His dad's name is Home, who is not in here, but is, like, at Revenant's Toll. And then his son is Yozan. So we have 3 generations on this boat, which I thought was really, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. But what I didn't realize is that if you read this, like, on the Domans, I did not realize that Yugiri had sailed the Domans to every other, like, to not every other, to many territories before landing on Eorzea. So it says here, one group led by Yugiri boarded a great galleon in their panic, made east across the Ruby Tide for the island nation of Hingashi. Alas, this nation would not risk inviting Garlemund's ire and turned away the Domans. They next sailed for Thavnair, where they found the great gates of Radzathan are closed. Starving, they steeled themselves for a single last voyage west to Eorzea. And that's where they finally found refuge, right? But I just find it fascinating that, like, I knew that their journey had been long, that they were starving, that they had, you know, sick people and children and stuff. But when you read this backstory of, like, yeah, no, Eorzea was their last resort. And if they didn't, you know, now I can get a sense of Yugiri's desperation when she's trying to make a plea to Nanamo and Lolorito and Teleji and Raubon, like, please, we need somewhere to go. And it's like, oh man, you tried 2 other places and you had to sail there, and, like, it's all stressful. I don't know, it made me appreciate the Domans even more, which I'm excited about because Now I'm going to start Stormblood on New Game Plus. You would learn about Liavinne if you read the flavor text that dead bodies have when they are in your inventory. Oh, man. That sucks. All right. Page 85. I think we're... Oh, this one's a quick one. Page 85. Page 85. So this one's a quick one. I knew this, but I didn't know this, and it was like, oh, okay, seeing it in an encyclopedia it makes sense. But it's the Lalafell's names. I know they all have the rhyme, like Nanamo, Namo, and Telegia to Legi and stuff. But like, there's a reason. So Lalafell names are made up of a given name and a courtesy name bestowed upon reaching adulthood. The latter is not a family name, but rather unique to the individual. Lalafell names trace their origins to songs and poems in the Old Tongue and are ruled by rhyme, rhythm, and repetition. Male plainsfolk names, such as Alka Zolka, feature an ABCB rhyming scheme, while female names, such as Mimimo, Mimo, are ABBAB. So those are plainsfolk. And then Dunesfolk names are at a glance similar to those of their plainsfolk cousins, but closer examination reveals subtle but sure differences in their rhyming schemes. Male Dunesfolk names follow an AAB-CCB pattern, as seen in Lolorito Nanarito, while female Dunesfolk, such as Momodi Modi, conform to an AAB-AB scheme. As a whole, Lalafell names are notably different in both spelling and pronunciation from those of other races, owing in part to the old Lalafell tongue containing only 5 distinct vowels, A, E, I, O, U. The thing that fascinates me about this is like how much thought was already put into the world of Eorzea, even in A Realm Reborn. Like, it's fascinating to me that there's a tradition, and like there's just a reason for even the names behind 2 different races of Lalafell, and of course the Miqo'te and all the rest of them. But it's like, it just makes me think, especially if you know the production of A Realm Reborn, like, how the heck did you all plan this? Like, how did you inject this much thought into something that was like supposed to be a recovery project? Or I don't know, maybe in 1.1 or 1.0 they already had this. I don't know, but I just love how much thought is given to this. It makes me want to rename Oliver Bentley. Like, maybe I should give her an official Miqo'te name. Unknown character says, I recommend you do the Doman Enclave. It's a fun side quest. I'm going to write that one down. I don't know if I've done that one. Doman Enclave. All right. How many more do we have left? Oh, we have a couple more. All right. Page 195. I don't have a note on page 195. What is 195? I think I already did this one. I wrote it twice. Oh, this was Sid. So I have a question about Sid, because in New Game Plus, he says that I was the one who gave him his glasses, as in the Warrior of Light. What the heck does that mean? Like, because, okay, so I'll save this for the end, because I said in the beginning of this that I wanted to talk about a question that I have, but we have to put the spoiler warning, because I think we're going to be talking about things that have to like do with the entire story. So I'll come back to this, but like, he says that we are the one who gave him his glasses during the calamity, and like, what do you mean? Were we the ones? Was the Warrior of Light the one who gave him his glasses? Page 122. Page 122. What is this? Oh yeah, this one's a very quick one, but I have a very I just find it interesting in this encyclopedia because age is a thing. Like if you read everyone's bio, they always say somebody's age, but they make it seem like being 25 is so old, and like by the time you're 35 you're ancient, which like as a 37-year-old is like makes me feel funny. But so here's Eorzea Deepwell, who is part of I think the leader of the Lancers Guild. And it says, in fact, it was she who nominated Wayne as Master of the Lancers Guild, a position he still holds at the middling age of 36. So it's not lore, but like it's the middling age of 36. And I'm 37. It just makes me feel super old. I don't know. I wrote something about the Botanist Guild too, but I don't remember what my point was, so I'm just going to skip that one. Boop. We're going to go over here. I did this one. Okay. Oh, we only have a few left. All right. Next up is... Oh, wait. Wait. I went to the wrong page. Oh, no. Okay, sorry. I remember what my point was. Let me go back. Okay, page 195. Back to Garland Ironworks. I completely missed this. So, my point for this page was Biggs and Wedge. So, I mentioned this earlier, but I always look out for Sid, Biggs, and Wedge whenever I play a Final Fantasy game because it's like, you know, these are these little Easter eggs that I try to find. But what's cool about Biggs and Wedge, since we just talked about the whole naming thing, is that right here it says, it is worth noting that Wedge and Biggs are aliases. This serves to protect their kin yet living in the Empire, who could be executed if their blood bond with the deserters were to become known. So their real names aren't Biggs and Wedge. Interesting. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Just an interesting tidbit. Page 55. Page 55. I don't know what page 55 is, actually. We're just going to have to find out. Oh, yeah. So this is back to the thing that I need to talk. When we like talk about spoilers, it's this. Like, I'm still confused. I'm going to write this down. Page 55. Let me write this down. We'll come back to that. We'll save it for the end. All right. We got two more. Page 46 is, oh yeah, okay. Page 46. I can feel my voice. I'm like losing my voice. So, countless splinterings of Dalamud rained down on the battlefield at Cartno, composed of not only the moon's outer shell, but fragments of the inner modules which had confined the Elder Primal. So, I think this is also true for, yeah, here. So, shards of Dalamud pierced the earth, producing a great fountain of ether that crystallized within moments. The amber-colored corrupted crystals now seen throughout the realm. These glowing talons remain a vivid reminder of the devastation wrought by the calamity. So I didn't realize that the corrupted crystals are just shards from Dalamud. Like, I think I knew that, but I feel like they're everywhere, right? They're not just... Because I know that they're in Mordona, but I'm actually not sure if... Yeah, it must be from Mordona. But yeah, it's interesting that these yellow crystals that we see everywhere are all from Dalamud. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. And last, but certainly not least, page 129. Okay. So for this one, this is... I don't know how to pronounce it. Syldih and Ulda. Syldih. I know that there's a whole quest line about the Syldih, right? So this is Syldih. It was these two nations. They were sister nations. And then, man, I think this is common knowledge. But in here, it describes it. So, like, I think they started fighting each other, I think because they were ruled by twins, and then the twins started like fighting with each other, and then I think it was Syldih that like stole their water, which is why they have the aqueducts. And then in retaliation, Ulda ended up like turning them into zombies or something like that. And then they lost, and so now they don't exist. Or I think Ulda built their city on top of the ruins of Syldih. And I believe, I'm sure someone will tell me, that this is a quest line. Like, I think this is explored in some kind of raid or something, or maybe even, I want to say it might even be something that recently just came out, because I remember Nanamo being talked a lot about in the patch. I don't know. I don't remember, but I found this whole history so fascinating. I just love, it's the ruins that get me. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Anyway, let me check in with the comments. Let's see. Yeah, presumably Lalafell lore was established in 1.0. It was in a cutscene. Anime age rules. 14 is an anime adult. 35 is an anime grandparent. Yeah, it's like... That's so funny. My husband and I talk about this all the time because, of course, like every anime, a lot of anime is like high school or middle school, and I love the ones where they talk about like after that. But even when they do like normal adult life, the person's still like 29. The goggles are meant to be a metaphor for memories. That scene meant us giving back his memories. It's confusing. I agree. Oh, okay. So I thought it was like, you literally gave me these goggles 5 years ago on the Enterprise as we were escaping the calamity. I didn't know that. Thank you, Cypher. Lyrith says, confined to Eorzea mostly. If they are anywhere in Garlemald or Doma or anywhere else, I haven't seen them. Cypher says, Syldih lore is explained in the new variant dungeons. You are correct. Yes, that's what I thought. So I haven't done those yet. I have no idea how to even like... I'm not even really sure what it is, but it sounds super fun. So I definitely want to check those out. It's explored in one of the job quests too, I'm pretty sure. So it's crazy that I think I have like 750 hours in Final Fantasy XIV at this point, and I still have so much to do. But I think I'm going to do Coils of Bahamut this weekend on a live stream. So if you want to join me for that, I think that would be super fun. I think it's a party of 8. I don't know how to do it though. So like, I don't know. I have to look this up. I've never done this. I've never like, can you form a party of 8 and then go in with 8 people? I would think that that's like obvious, right? Like you have to be able to do that. I'm sure. Okay. So here's where I'm going to, as I wrap up this stream, here's where I'm going to give you the spoiler warning. Okay. So spoiler warning. We're talking everything that has to do with Final Fantasy XIV. So if you have not finished past Heaven's War, like, you know, let's say you're caught up all the way to 6.0. Yeah, 6.0, let's call it that. So we won't talk about 6.1 or 6.2 because I haven't done 6.2, but all bets are off. Like everything's on the table to talk about because I need somebody to explain this thing that I'm still super confused about. So if you want to tune out, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching up until this point. And I'll also timestamp this so you can make sure to skip this part. So hopefully that warning was enough. Now, the thing that I'm still super confused about is... I don't even know how to explain it. So, let me just try to talk it out because I don't even know like what my question is. Let me see. Let me try to show you what my question is. Okay, here we go. I'm going to, like, I'm keeping this in the back of my head as I'm playing New Game Plus. But here's my question. Okay, so this is Arbert, and these are the Warrior of Darkness. I completely understand that they came from the first. Okay, I get that much. But I think the thing that confused me is that I thought that these 5 adventurers were the 5 adventurers in the A Realm Reborn trailer, right? So that confused me because I thought that the guy who's in the trailers was meant to symbolize the Warrior of Light, right? Like there's just like an unnamed person in all of the Final Fantasy XIV trailers, and I feel like that's the Warrior of Light, and it's that guy, right? And that's supposed to be us. But then I'm confused. Then I started getting confused because I was like, is that Arbert? And then when I was doing my notes, it says Arbert here, and then I was like, I swear his name was Ardbert. It had a D in it. And then I looked here and it says Arbert, and I was like, there's no D. I swear there was a D though. And then I think I looked it up, and I was getting confused at like, see, this is why I don't even know what my question is. But then like, I guess it also leads me to who is the Warrior of Light, like originally, because, okay, let me try to explain this. On my first playthrough, I remembered that there was a calamity, right? And I remember specifically Alisaie and Alphinaud saying at the beginning that like everyone forgot about the Warriors of Light. Like for some reason, everyone lost their memories, and we can't remember who these Warriors of Light were or are. And I remember she throws a fit all about it because we do this like memorial ceremony about the calamity or something like that. And then like to this day, we still can't remember who those like 5 adventurers were. And I thought it was these guys. I thought it was the Warriors of Darkness, which as I'm talking that out does not make sense. So it must be us, right? Like we're from the source. So it has to be the Warrior of Light. But then what happened between us helping out at the calamity and then us getting to the caravan where we see Alphinaud and Alisaie for the first time? And like, you know, because like, you know, this is just my impression as someone who's completely new to the world of Final Fantasy XIV. So I'm sure if you've played 1.0, this totally makes sense, but like I'm confused, right? So are we the like heroes that everyone forgot about, and for some reason we also forgot, like we lost our memory too, you know? And then like I get confused with the Warriors of Darkness too, but I think like as I'm talking it out, I think they're just irrelevant. I think the reason why I'm confused is because they're in the trailer of A Realm Reborn. But like doesn't matter, right? Like it's just a trailer. It's not necessarily the story. Because if they're from the first, like they shouldn't be on the source at all. The only time they come to the source is that one time in the Heavensward patch content when they are like, yo, there's a flood. Could you help us? And that's it. Like that's the only time they're the first. But for some reason they look identical to the heroes that I thought everyone forgot about during the calamity. See, this is why I just got confused, because I was like, is it them? Is it them? And then like the main character in the trailer looks like Ardbert, so is it the same person? But then I thought this guy was like a metaphorical figure of the Warrior of Light, who's me. I don't know, confused. Okay, let me check into the comments here. Let's see. Hi, Rainshark. I loved your comment on the last video. Thanks for it. Let's see. Lyrit says they are the exact same models and faces. Yes. Rainshark says Ardbert, see Ardbert with the D, and his Warriors of Darkness are sort of lookalikes to the trailer folks. There is no connection to the Warriors of Darkness and the trailer NPC stand-in. Wait, there's no connection to the Warriors of Darkness and the trailer NPC stand-in. Okay, I'm still confused. The guy in the trailer I called Meteor or Derplinder. The existence of the Warriors of Darkness and Ardbert was sort of a fourth wall breaking joke, since they are meant to be evil versions of you as the Warrior of Light. The original Warrior of Light are the players of the first version of Final Fantasy XIV. What happened was the relaunching of Realm Reborn. Okay, so I think that much I knew, right? Because I saw the documentary and I remembered that Dalamud was getting, like, people who were playing 1.0 actually saw Dalamud falling, right? So then it falls, and then there's the Battle of Cartano, which I think that's, like, that was the end of that, of 1.0. But then, like, now I'm confused as to the whole memory thing, right? Like 5 years later, are we those same people? I'm confused. See, I'm confused. I need like a video. I need a video explaining this. Lyra says, but they are not actually characters that fought in the Battle of Cartano. Ardbert, though, is a Warrior of Light from the first. In fact, he is also one of the 13 shards of Azem, which is you. This is also another this is also another question I have, is like, so we are Azem, but did we know this? Like Azem, like Azem, like from back in the day? That's who we are? I feel weird like asking this. Clearly I have dots to connect. Okay. Cypher. Ah, yes. The Ardbert versus Ardbert confusion. The name without the D was a stupid attempt of Ardbert hiding his name. Okay. Lyrit says, no, we are not forgotten heroes of before. So then, who are we and who are the forgotten heroes of before? They are survivors of Bahamut's attack, though. Those are 1.0 players represented by the characters you see in the ARR trailer. Okay. Okay. Oh, see, this is so confusing because they look exactly like the Warriors of Darkness. So, okay. There's 1.0 players. There's the Battle of Cartano. The 1.0 players are the survivors, are symbolized through the Warrior of Darkness lookalikes in the ARR trailer. Now, connect that to us at the beginning of A Realm Reborn. It's not the same, right? Like, what happened to the 1.0 people? Is that just like we just forgot about them? They blipped out? Or like there has to be some connection of like the 1.0 survivor to the existing Warrior of Light now. That's the part I'm missing. Basically, they're just characters models for the trailer meant to represent generic character tropes. There are survivors. Oh, I saw. They went ahead and then used those models in the game as a way to intentionally poke at your meta knowledge and expectations of the game. Legacy players have different ARR cutscenes. Really? That's cool. I want to see those. From what I understand, if you played 1.0, your Warrior of Light is the one from the Calamity. Whereas if you didn't play in 1.0, you're a different person. There's different dialogue where NPCs start. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Oh, now I'm curious as to what their dialogue is. So we are just a random adventurer, right? So that's what I always thought, was that like, we're just a random adventurer. Like any other adventurer, just like Ardbert, right? Like on the first, he started out just as an adventurer, slowly met the other, his other friends in his party, and then they became like the heroes, right? And so that's just us. like there's no backstory to us, but then there is because of the whole Azem thing. That's where I'm confused. So that's another question I have. Oh, if you have a legacy account. How cool. Lyrit says the faces and models of the Warrior of Darkness, like Ardbert, that you see in the A Realm Reborn trailer are merely representatives of the surviving characters that made it out into A Realm Reborn. Yes, that Azem. We are that reincarnation of Azem. Okay. Are we the reincarnation of the existing Azem? Of the Azem that is currently in office when you play Endwalker? That one? So that same one? Right? Like the one that takes over after Vana? Rainshark says, it is implied that we are the reincarnation of Azem, the member of the council who followed Vana. This is literally the question I just asked. Vana was Azem before her ancestor takes on the role. Remember that Emmett, Selk, Elidibus are just titles, not real names. Azem is another title like that. Okay, so, wow. Lyra says, just ignore that they look alike. AR trailer characters are not Warriors of Darkness. They just are not linked in any way. They exist in the form of other players with a special tattoo. Oh, how interesting. Azem is just the title. We were an Ascian who took up the title of Azem after Hydaelyn. We were an Ascian. This is kind of setting in. I'm almost there. I'm almost there, guys. I see it. Okay. So the same way that, like, Amon gets reincarnated, right? Right? No, now I'm confused because I thought his name was Fandaniel. But he lived during the Alligans, right? Like, he's the one who worked with Xandi. But he gets reincarnated. The all players all have tattoos. It's freaking fascinating. Where are they? How cool. Starting AR, you get the teleport like the cinema. Also remember, anyone can be a warrior of light as long as you get the blessing. No, dialogue is not any different if you are 1.0 player. You can carry over certain legacy mounts and stuff, but you start AR the same as everyone else. As a returning 1.0 player in ARR, you get different cutscenes. In the cutscene where you escape the explosion after being Gaius, the 1.0 players get into a cutscene where the NPCs remember who you are. Oh my gosh, how crazy. We are to Azem what Amon is to Fandaniel. Okay, I was about to be like, yes, but then Lyrith was like, Ardbert is also Azem. And now I'm confused again. Ardbert is a shard of Azem's soul. I don't even know what my question is, but I think I get it. We're host to the soul splinter. Okay. We are host to the soul splinter of the Azem that succeeded Vana, that was on the source, and those that got rejoined in the past. He has rejoined to us, so think of us as the source of Azem's soul. Amon was splintered. Oh, shoot. I think I get it. I think I just missed it. Okay. Okay. Is this what happens? So, pre-sundering, right? The unsundered. I forgot whether they're called Ascians at that point. Whatever. The unsundered, right? I forgot what they're called. I don't think they're called Ascians. When the world was sundered, were the people sundered too? I think I missed that. Right? So I know everything got sundered into 13, the 13 reflections, but the people were sundered too? Is that what? That would make total sense, which is why there's like shards, right? So like people get broken up into 13. Like, not only did the world get broken up into 13 reflections, but so did the people. Am I just making stuff up now? Hold on. Aemon was splintered just like we were. Emmett, Selk, and Elidibus were unsundered Ascians, and they don't have reflections on the other shards. But Azem was sundered. So there are 14 total Azem reincarnations, 1 per shard. Okay, honestly, I don't know how I missed this. I think I went too fast. I totally missed this. It's sinking in. I'm just thinking about it. So, like, is there another interaction in Final Fantasy XIV where, okay, so Azem, sundered. We are a shard. Ardbert's the shard from the first. We don't know who's the shard from like the second or the third or whatever remains, right? That's question 1. And question 2 is there another situation where we are seeing multiple shards of the same sundered Ascian? I guess that would be the Aemon guy, right? No, because that was all in the source. It was just a different time in history. Oh, this is so fascinating. Aemon had the entire soul reincarnated to him. We do not have all the pieces of Azem's soul. Oh, right. Aemon was also sundered. We are the sundered Azem, as the soul of Azem split into 14 pieces. Ardbert was 1 piece of that soul. Right. Okay, that much I get now. The ancients, yeah. Yes, people were sundered as well. I completely missed that. I'm replaying it. I'm going to replay it. Did I know that? I don't know if I knew that. I must have missed it. I don't know. I knew the world was sundered. I don't know if I knew that the people were. How are they not sundered? I feel so bad because I feel like you guys are just retelling the entire Endwalker to me. But I want to know as I go through New Game Plus, because I'm the person that, like, after I watch a movie or after I finish a series, like, I go look up the trivia and the summary just to make sure that, like, I got everything right. And yeah, with Endwalker, I remember after I finished Endwalker, I wished there was a book, and not like this kind of a book, but like putting the entire story in a linear, like, book that I can read, because I felt like there was like just so many pieces, and I was like, I think there's stuff that I'm missing. The unsundered, yes. Okay. That is why Soto sees you and recognizes your soul color. Who's Soto? You got to remember, for each calamities there was, those reflections returned to the source. Yes. Which is why you are a very powerful being. Oh. That makes sense. Wow. But, okay, wait. Okay, so now I'm getting confused, because not every person is unsundered. Right? Like, we happen to be a reincarnation of someone who was sundered, but like there's a bunch of other people that are just like people, right? Like Ishgardians are just Ishgardians. They're not like a shard of somebody or reincarnation of whatever. But so whenever there is a rejoining, we are getting stronger because that world that like disappears, or I guess rejoins to the source, also causes the shards or the reflections or the people of that world to rejoin back up with the source. Does that make sense? So that's why we are super strong. But that doesn't affect everybody on the source. It just affects the people who are reincarnated. Rain Shark says, remember when Emperor Varys of Garlemald, before he gets killed, talks to you about making people whole again? And it sounds kind of racist purist. He's indirectly talking about sundered souls. I remember that. That's his whole, like, I remember he had, like, the Final Fantasy XIV tanks looking stuff. Is that what he was trying to... No, wait, no, that was... I thought that was a Solus Galvis at that time, which is why you're very... Oh, yeah. So far, we seem to be 2 of 14 of the original soul, because we're Ardbert, yes. But we have to be more than that, because there's been 7 calamities, so 7 rejoinings. We just don't know who those people were. Yes, remember the time when Archbishop Thornton looked at you as he was passing and was like, what are you? It was at that time he saw you were much more than a normal person. Yes, I literally talked about this morning in my Heavensward video. I haven't edited it yet, but I recorded it this morning. But I remember him looking at us like he feels like he's the most powerful being in the world. But then as he's dying, he's looking at us and realizing like, okay, we just defeated the most powerful person in the world. So what the heck does that make us? You know, and I guess like that's when he's like, okay, you are super strong, which like makes sense because, you know, even as the player, as the person playing the Warrior of Light, I'm like, you know, it's like the grand melee in Heavensward. I was like, come on, Ishgard's totally gonna win because obviously we're on their side. I found the legacy cutscenes on YouTube, the ones 1.0 players get in AR. Can I share a link here? Yeah, please do. I'd love to check it out. Think of it like Highlander rules. Basically, everyone's soul was sundered except for a select few Astians who escaped. Got it. There is no evidence to suggest that we have absorbed any other shards other than Ardbert at all, as those rejoinings happened before our character was born. Got it. Got it. Well, let me tell you guys something. First of all, thank you for being patient with me and explaining that to me. But I am all the more excited to make videos as I replay the upcoming expansions. I think I'm gonna start Stormblood today. And my big project that I talked about 2 videos ago, where I talked about finishing my streaming setup, got pushed 1 more week. So like I'm a little nervous because I think I gotta put stuff on pause with this channel, or I'm not gonna have a lot of time. Like work's gonna get crazy. But I would love to finish Stormblood and start Shadowbringers. Like, I don't know, see if I can do it in a week. I've got nothing else on the calendar except for this, so we'll see how far I can get. But I'm just so freaking excited to play Endwalker again. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to make videos about it. Oh, I'm so excited. I just got a new 4 terabyte hard drive, and I've been recording every single thing of New Game Plus. So I have like the whole playthrough, and it's gonna get slower because I've just been playing everything solo unsynced as a level 90 Dragoon. So everything is like one hit kill, but even towards the end of the Heavensward patch content, it was starting to take a few hits for me to like take down King Thornton, for example. So I'm not going to be able to blast through it as quickly, I don't think. I remember I tried soloing Vothri. That was not possible, even as a level 90. So definitely by Shadowbringers, I'm going to have to team up with peeps. But yeah, I'm just so excited to do like deep dives and analysis videos and stuff. So those will be fun. I'm very excited. Andrea says, pretty sure we're 9/14 of Azem. The source fragment, 7 rejoinings worth plus Ardbert's fragment. The source, which is 1 plus 7 plus Ardbert. Mecca says, no, we're 8/14 now. Remember the cycle of rebirth that Minfilia explained. We were alive previously and returned to the ethereal sea to be born again. So it doesn't matter if all that stuff happened before we were born, because we're like the same soul, right? It's all a theory when it comes to our soul and shards. If that were the case, everyone would be that powerful. Yeah. So Geki says, the thing is, even if those rejoinings happened before we were born, our ether souls go back to the stream and is reborn time and time again. Yes. If rejoinings caused our soul shards to return to the source, then everyone would be 8/14. That's why I'm confused. That's what's confusing me, because it's like everyone else who got sundered would also be that, right? Like the next guy, like that person and that person and that person, but it doesn't, but it's not like a lineage thing. It's not something that it gets passed on. So it's literally, if you were the ancients, I don't know how many there were, but say there were 100 ancients. Those 100 ancients got severed. And so regardless if the population increases as history goes on, there's still going to be 100 sundered. Right? So like the number of sundered does not increase, because it just the sundered person or the sundered soul just keeps getting reincarnated over and over again. That makes sense to me. Emmett mentions we are 7 parts complete when he tries to see how much we remember before we go up the ladder. Well, yes, that's what the Asians want. Make everyone 14/14 again. Yeah. Everyone is strong enough, though. The thing that really sets us apart is the fact that we have the blessing of light. Yeah, that's true, right? We have Hydaelyn's blessing. Keep in mind that the shard that we are is special. Not all the ancients were as powerful as Azem. Yeah, because Azem was like right? Azem was the one that like had a special duty to go like travel and stuff. Like everyone else would just stay at home base, and we got the cool job. Right? That is just theorycraft, bro. It seems the link gets filtered in the chat. Is there another way to share the link of the legacy cutscenes? Oh, that sucks. How do I get you to do that? I'm about to end the stream, and like the stream replay will just go up automatically. Maybe you could leave it as a comment. I know for sure the comment shouldn't get filtered, and if it does, I'll make sure to unhide it. Lyra says there was not a single bit of in-game sources that hint at that being the case at all. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what my interpretation is after I play New Game Plus again. Knowing all of this was fascinating. So, oh man, I'm like losing my voice. So thank you so much for tuning in, for watching this. This was so much fun. I'm excited to, keep digging into this game that I love so much. And it's just super fun to discuss like theories and stuff with all of you. So I just recorded my Heaven's Ward review, thoughts on Heaven's Ward video this morning. I'd love to get it out Thursday if I can. And then at some point this weekend, either Friday or Saturday, I'll try to schedule it in advance as much as I can. But I'd love to do Coils of Bahamut on a live stream. And I think my brother wants to be in the party. And I think it's a party of 6 or 8, right? So if anyone wants to be in that party, let me know. I don't have a Discord, so I have no idea. Just leave a comment or, message me on Instagram or Twitter. And we'll make it happen, or whatever. Show up to the live stream and we'll figure it out. But I'm excited. I hope I can activate it. Like, I don't know what kicks it off, but I'm pretty sure I should be good to go. But yeah. All right. Theorycraft is not lore, but it's fun. Yeah. Let's see. It's all good. It's all fun. It's all fun. All right, everybody. So I will talk to you all later. Have an awesome rest of your day. See ya. Bye.